Okay, so we've now got the 3 holes cut fully, as you can see. Now the next job we need to do is we need to cut out a hole for the spacer. The spacer I showed you on some of the bolts needs to be cut out. So this is the front. Okay, so it's not the first one here. Can you see that, Tom? It's not the first one, it's the second one. So we've coloured it orange for you. And then it's not number 3, 4, 5, but it's number 6 and 7. So this is the rear wheel arch here. So it's the 2 rearmost ones. And you can see it's the ones in proximity with the brackets. And that's just to give clearance for the spacer to come up through, because we need to use the bolts that hold on the underside of these brackets also needs to hold up this sill instead of the plastic poppers that we originally took out. Okay, so again, using the same 13mm drill we did before, we just need to cut clearance through there. Let me just, thank you, Tom. Do that last one. Okay, so that's those 3 cut now. Okay, now what we'll do now is we'll go on and fit the bracket. Okay, so we're starting with the rearmost bracket first, okay? Now your car may not have these tape covers, but on this car there's some little tape covers that cover over the holes, okay? So remove and throw those away, and then offer the bracket up, okay? And then, bolt these in. Now you'll see you've got a little bit of movement on these, okay? So what you'll need to do is to bolt those in loosely first. Now the underside ones are a little bit because we need to fit these just to check we've got them all in, and then we need to take them out again because these are gonna have to go in through the outer sill first, okay? So if we just get underneath, and it's probably easier if I just lie underneath. I'll grab the camera and show you what we've got under there. Okay, so what we've got under here, okay, is, thank you, Tom. Okay, we've got a hole there, okay, and then a hole there, and the holes are pre-existing in the bodywork there. Okay, so I'll just put those in lightly, and then we'll get the 13mm socket and tighten those up. So let me just go from underneath. Now the under ones haven't got any slots in them, left and fore and aft. So once you've got those 2 in, that pretty much dictates the position of the bracket. So I've got those 2 there. Oh, what jet on the thing. And then it's a question of doing these 2 up. So I'll grab the socket now and do those up. Okay, so the instructions say 22 Newton meters is the torque to tighten these up to, but basically you want to nip them up fairly tight. You don't want them coming loose, obviously. So the under 2 will leave loose, and in fact once you've tightened those up you can actually pull those out again because they've got to be fitted after the sill. So I'll leave those underneath, okay, ready for the next one. Okay, right, it's similar with the middle one. Okay, again we're going to have to find. Okay, so this is the middle bracket. Okay, you can see again we've got the holes covered by this tape, and the other thing we'll have to do additionally on this one is remove the plastic grommet. Okay, there we go. Hope you've got good fingernails. Okay, so you've got those 2. So this one here we'll just have to remove. I'll just grab the snake. Okay. So again, just be careful when you just use this tool here, just to prise out that rubber sealing washer, okay? Right, and that allows the bracket obviously to sit flush against. Now there's, okay, so again we'll put the top 2 in and the bottom 2. So to keep the video short, I'll get on and do that and we'll come back when I've finished. Okay, so we've got all the bolts in loosely. So again, tighten these 2 ones on this outer face first, because that will bring the bracket in nice and tight at the bottom. Okay, and then tighten the 2 on the underside under here. up. And you can see this is forming a strong outrigger now, which the steps are going to bolt through on in the next step. So, okay, the front, so these had no spacers. So these four on the middle bracket, there's no spacers, so you can fit all four and leave all four. Okay, and then the final bracket, okay, we've got, again, it's the same as we've got the spacer, so the spacer is on the frontmost one. So what we're going to do is just fit the two, check that one goes in, fit and bolt those, and then remove the very front one. So I'll do that now, and we'll come back and show you. Okay, so that's the front bracket fitted now. So yeah, we've got the one outer fitting. We had to remove the grommet here because it got too close. We had to remove the blanking, but we've got the rearmost bolt in under here, and we've left the front bolt out because that needs to go in after we fitted the sill. So that's the outriggers all on. So if I just step back a minute now, you can see we've got the three outriggers in position now. So the next step will be to fit the sill and then fit the steps. So I'll get the sill ready and join you again. So now we're going to fit this. So again, we need to fit this front section, these front tabs into the locating bit, and we need to watch this. If I put my hand behind it, this dog here, we need to make sure we get that located into that little slot there. Okay, so this is the hardest bit of refitting this. It's not too bad, but just make sure, and obviously you've got to do this all the time while putting your holes over your outriggers. So it's a bit of a puzzle, but not one that's insurmountable. There we go. That's the front. So with those located, okay, we can push that in. Okay, yeah, and you'll feel all that drop in. And you'll see now, if I just get out your way, you can see now it's resting on all the outriggers, okay? So just open the rear door to get it under that last one at the back there. So it's a little bit of a twist up and under, okay, like so. And once we've got it in position all the way along, and we're happy with where it's lying, we can start to pop it in, okay? So let's just clear that over there, okay, and get that up. And then once you flush up here, okay, you can start to clip the clips in and work backwards. Okay, with the sill step cover poppered back into place, okay, we've now got to replace the two screws at the rear that we took out earlier, okay, and then we've got to put in the bolts underneath. Now these are the bolts that we left out with the spacers, okay. Now hopefully you can see why, because this is where we had the plastic poppers in before to hold this sill cover up, but now we've got the bolts there that go through the sill cover to hold the sill cover up and then into the brackets, and the spacers are obviously just giving the space. So there's those two to do there, okay, the middle two didn't have any, okay, and then there's just the final one on the front one here that we've got to do up, okay. So I'll finish doing that one up, and then it's a question of mounting the step on, okay. So I'll finish getting that mounted up, and then we'll show you how to fit the step. Okay, so with the bolts in, what we need to do is fit these plastic poppers back up, okay. So it's best, they're a two-part popper. Fit the first part, the inner part first, push that in, and then put the plunger pin, put that in second, and that'll lock it all up into place. Now obviously there was 7 we took out, but 3 of them have been replaced by bolts, so there's only 4 of those to replace. So we'll do that, and that's the seals fully on then. So finally we come to putting the step on. We've got the outriggers. So if you look on the underside, we've got these pre-welded in studs that we're going to flip over and put down through there. Now, so what you need to do is obviously line up the holes. Now, it's easier to start with it at this sort of lifted up location. You can check that all the outriggers are in the channel, okay, and then as you lower it, push it back so that the bolts locate down into the slots. like so, and then it's just a question of getting underneath. You want to grab your torch, Tom, in case. Okay, getting underneath, okay, and looking in the slot here, okay, and fitting the nuts, the nylock nuts on those two. Okay, now one thing, couple of things the instructions from Land Rover say to make sure is that when you open the door, just to make sure that this edge is fully up against the original sill, and as you can see it does make a really nice join there. There's no way any water's gonna splash up over here and make the car dirty as you're getting in and out, which is good. Okay, and obviously this gap here should be roughly in line with the door closing, but there's no real adjustment you can make in that direction. It's more, you've got a little bit of leeway front and rear. Okay, and then obviously the final step is to remove the plastic tape to reveal the final fitted step. So good luck with that. Yeah, it'd probably take you about an hour to do the first side and probably half an hour to do the second side.